Locked in.
On day 2, no ciggies.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Have you given up cigs?
I haven't given them up because I definitely had a ciggy last night with Don Bresky. But
He smokes reds as well.
yeah, they're really gnarly. Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah, they're really hardcore. But yeah, I'm definitely want to kick that shit. You know,
Yeah, man. It's honestly the best thing that I did.
quitting smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can like feel certain effects after a few days. Like I definitely feel jittery and shit sometimes, but like I notice like my skin's starting looking like clearer and shit like that, like little things.
Yeah.
So I think those things are kind of like spurring me on to keep it up. You know what I mean? Because like I'm noticing a difference. You know what I mean?
For sure, man.
So
And then when you give up as well, you feel like you've got this kind of, I know everything starts repairing itself. Like you don't like draw like so hard with your breath and stuff.
yeah,
But the hardest thing is to give up cigarettes in an environment which is full of vices and cigarettes and backstages and
you know,
drinking.
actually,
It's
like,
hard.
Like I've never really been a fan of dabs because I always looked at it like it was so like not junky, but you know what I mean. It's like very excessive.
Yeah, it's
like all the effort you got to go to. I'm now understanding the advantage of it because it's like mad cleaner. You're not really like putting all these carcinogens in your lungs and shit, and like it's quick. You know what I mean? It's not messy. Like there's no ash everywhere and shit. So kind of been thinking about that, but like.
But it's
Do you have a rig?
Nah, that shit's expensive, bro. I don't even know if I had the energy to fucking maintain it, to be honest.
That's like a turning point in your life when you got the dab rig at home, you know?
Take care of it like your child. Like, we'll clean it, feed it. Like, you know what I mean?
Just step away from my rig.
we want to talk about football or soccer.
Oh, football. We're calling it football in this room.
Good. Okay.
You just came from football.
Yes, I did. It's very interesting.
Are you tired?
I'm fucking beat, yeah.
How often do you play?
We've been playing once a week, actually. It's been pretty good. Yeah, you want me to go into detail about it?
Yeah. I mean, you were telling us earlier. Who do you play with? Like,
I mean, pretty much playing with Calvin Harris. But today, you know, Diplo brought a team. Calvin brought 2 teams. We had like 20 people. So we had kind of 4 teams playing like 2 games at a time. It was cool.
Right. And then who is like unexpectedly good, who you wouldn't expect to be good? Is the standards all good?
Okay. Like definitely.
Who's shining?
Chris Lorenzo came and played a pickup game, and he's actually like way better than I thought he was. Calvin's really good.
How's
Like-
Lorenzo's tackling?
Lorenzo's kind of messy. He's like very English, you know what I mean? It's very like
I'd
rough and
expect that.
able
Yeah.
style of play. It's not like
It's not graceful.
it's not pretty, but he gets the job done, you know. But yeah, everyone's like, no one's professional, but everyone takes it very seriously, you know. So it's like competitive, and it's
So
like,
you haven't got like shirts with like your names on the back, or
we don't have
you
shirts.
haven't got to that point yet.
Yeah.
You haven't got shirts. You just-
Nah, we're rocking bibs still, but like just to give you an idea, like you guys know Burns, like
Yeah.
the producer DJ. He's broken his ankle twice playing in this competition.
twice?
Yeah, we call it like
Bones by name.
Yeah, we call it the Valley Premier League or whatever. Like it's like Valley Champions League. Like we all play in this fucking little pitch out in the valley, and it's cool.
That's cool, man. And then besides football, like what else are you doing? Like when you're not like, you know, doing what you do.
Honestly, like
What do you do when you're kicking back and you're just like not
I've been
thinking
playing
about?
a lot.
Are you video gaming?
Yeah,
right?
I've been playing a lot of PlayStation lately.
Okay.
Like a lot of Apex. You heard of Apex?
I heard about it, but we're both Switch heads. I don't know. I don't really go outside the Nintendo world, honestly.
Apex is that new shit.
Yeah. How's Smash Brothers actually?
Really
You guys
fun.
play
I John Jung was teaching me how to master it. He's really good at it. So I was awful. I haven't played since I was like a kid. The old version.
That version's good.
Yeah, and it's sick, man. Yeah. I need to get back. You should come over and play. It's really fun, man.
I'm too scared to buy a Switch until I play it a bit because I feel like I'll buy it and then it'll just sit in the drawer. Like I'll play it for a week and just be like, fuck it. You know what I
Really?
mean?
Even on the road, and you're like just whipping about and just going on flights and.
Maybe that's different though, yeah. Because there was a point, this is kind of embarrassing, but there definitely was a point where I was traveling with my PlayStation.
Really?
But yeah, it actually stopped me from going to after parties. It was good because as soon as I was done with the show, I didn't want to go party. I just want to go back to my room, play PlayStation.
Isn't there like a circle of DJs that do that? That's like a thing I heard. Yeah.
Or take
Yeah,
their
yeah.
PlayStation.
I'm not a big gamer, so I don't know.
Nah, for real. Like,
Enlighten us, man. Like,
I'm not
how does
gonna.
it-
I'm not gonna
Name
I'm not,
names.
nah, I'm not gonna blow. I'm not gonna blow this one person up. But they have, they make those gaming suitcases, and so like everything's in the like case. It's like a Pelican case, and you just basically open the lid, and there's a screen and PlayStation.
Wow.
This is like a
Sick.
very big DJ, and like he travels with that shit like everywhere. I'm like, all right, that's
fucking
fire.
sick,
That's fire.
I mean, it's a good option.
I mean, that's like
Let's not ever get to that point. Can we make a pact?
yeah,
that's pretty intense.
No, it is pretty intense.
I play like Smash Brothers. I don't,
But is it intense if you're at that level of touring, where you're literally in a new country every night type? Vibe?
Yeah, if it helps you relax,
Helps you chill
and
out.
escape. Yeah. It's chaos out there, so you need that comfort.
Yeah. But games are intense as well. I find myself like they're relaxing me, but at the same time I'm like getting stressed out over them. And
I'll play like
more
relaxing ones when I want to chill out. So like I play this snowboarding game called Steep.
Okay.
And all it is just you freaking free ride down a mountain, just do whatever tricks you want. You know what I mean? That's like where you chill.
Yeah.
Like, Apex is like Fortnite and shit. It's like intense. Like
Right.
yeah. But it's cool if you like Call of Duty, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that shit stresses me out. Like
It is a
the
little
really intense games, I get like anxious. and shit.
Yeah,
I
any
like the
game
more
that
just
requires
battle
like button combinations, like, like
more of a Tetris guy.
RPGs. Yeah, give me Tetris. The new Tetris is dope.
You know what though? I kind of found out it doesn't really matter what game you're into. There's like a huge world and probably a competition for it. You know what I mean? You could probably be a pro in like that game, and I'm talking like Tetris. You know what I mean? Like there's probably still a Tetris tournament out there worth like
Yeah,
at least a couple of G's, maybe more. 10K,
Yeah,
you
get
know?
on it, man. Every time I see you, we do talk about video games, and they always interest me so much because you got loads of knowledge on it. And is that something you want to do more, like kind of bridge that gap between music and video games, or like delve into that? Any kind of plans?
Like I never really thought it was a thing until a few years ago, and I got asked to play at Comic-Con, and it was really like my first kind of experience, like into seeing like what those people like culturally. You know what I mean? Because like all those gamers listen to music too. You know,
Right.
I wasn't really aware to the extent of like how much they knew. Like, they all know Skrillex, obviously, that kind of thing. And I guess I just kind of saw that those kids aren't that different to us. You know what I mean? It's just they chose another format. And then from there, it just kind of like I continued this relationship with these guys at IGN.com, which is kind of like ESPN for video games.
Right.
And just kind of like kept linking up. So every year at E3, I kind of go through with them and go check out new games. And
You brought me one year. That was really fun, man. That was my
Yeah.
only time going. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
pretty intense.
It's crazy,
A lot
huh?
of shit going on there.
It's
yeah.
crazy. And I think when you just see how deep that world goes, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential for parties, for collaboration stuff,
For like VR, those kind of
Everything.
things.
I mean, if you look at, have you heard of the game Rocket League?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Rocket League's dope.
you know the record label Monster Cat, out of Vancouver. So for the last 2 years, all the music on Rocket League games has come from Monster Cat,
Right.
and the way that they're able to kind of leverage off each other, monetize it back, things like that. It just there's a whole world kind of not like being underserved with our scene. Like they want to. I don't know, saying feel cool is a bad way to describe it, but they want access to our culture, and a lot of music producers want access to their culture. And if you look at the whole kind of Ninja Marshmallow thing, right, the way it's kind of played off each other in a way, and it's, like I said, they're not that different to us. They like video games and music, and we like video games and music. So it's just like kind of working out ways to kind of get into
so
their
true.
scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a big overlap for sure.
Huge overlap.
And like the cross culture thing is like it happens in a lot of different ways. Like like rappers with like athletes. They want to be each other. Gamers want to be around like DJs. DJs want to be around gamers. They're good at games, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a nice bond, I think, because it's like the common ground is music.
Yeah.
And whatever entertainment, sports.
I also think with athletes too, because all those, all NBA players play 2K, all rappers play 2K.
And
It's
the same football players play FIFA.
FIFA,
Always.
yeah. There's a lot of crossover stuff. So It's cool. I think it's I'm not the only one, you know what I mean, that feels that way. Like if you look at Deadmau5, he started a gaming team, like Ketta's on it, I think. And then the other people that kind of played these after parties that I played, like A-Track was one of them, Chainsmokers played another one, Afrojack played another one. So I think everyone's pretty aware of it, you know? It's just like, how do you fit in and how can you kind of have a piece of that as well, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's almost like all you hear about kind of nowadays. Everyone always bringing up gaming and music. And it's like, I'm not into gaming, like, deeply. So it's like, I don't want to force it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people will know it's fake as hell if
Yeah.
I come
Yeah.
in trying to be like in the gaming world when I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, same as me. I think I would just be like I would just, people would know straight away that, you know, that's not really
But
what
like
I'm
I said,
about, but
it's
I'm
like
a casual
you-
gamer.
But you're still a gamer if you play like Mario Kart, right? And if you play Smash Brothers, and there's people that are out there in that world that only play those games. You know what I mean? So it's not. I think the term gamer can be taken like way too seriously. You know, it's like suggests you probably sit there for 8 hours a day, fucking no lights on type thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can just, it's simple. So, I don't know, games.
Yeah,
Games.
man. Sort of deviating sort of away from gaming a bit and then kind of getting back to the music. Let's kind of rewind a bit and tell us about kind of your upbringings with music and Australia and, you know, tell us, just enlighten us about all that stuff. Like, what was it like growing up in Australia?
From Sydney, yeah?
Yeah, I'm from Sydney. So I guess when I was kind of born in Bankstown, which is, you know, like kind of a really rough neighborhood. So we were there from like my childhood till I was about 6 or 7, and then we moved to like a little bit kind of further east, like a little bit better area called like North Ryde. So I spent a lot of my time there. But it's kind of like if you've been to the west of Sydney, there's like nothing to do. Like the culture out there is like, you know, growing up like with like done up cars and like rolling around with the music subs and shit, you know, like I don't know if you guys been
I can relate.
You've seen out there, right? Know what it's like
Cruising the strip.
yeah, or if you've been to like you guys been to like El Jinnah, the chicken shop in like
Yeah.
the one with the garlic sauce and shit. Yeah. So like
Barney took me there.
yeah. So
Shout
like
out to
those
Barney.
neighborhoods like where it's very, very ethnically diverse. So my neighborhood was like, I mean, it had like white people, but there's a lot of Asian people, a lot of like Lebanese, Italians, stuff like that. So like eating like chicken shawarma kebabs and shit was like regular, you know? Playing soccer after school with like the boys, like regular. But it was fucking boring, man.
So it sounds like it sounds like in a way like very parallel with like my kind of upbringing where I grew up as well. It's like I couldn't wait to move to London. So was that a bit like your journey? Like kind of I can't wait to get out of here and sort of do something else, or
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew because both my parents are immigrants, so I kind of knew I would never like stay in one spot. Like I always kind of sensed that I would live somewhere else one day and then maybe go back, but I don't know, it was just something that just seemed like nothing about where I'm from like I could really connect with, you know what I mean? Like I tried to like skate and like as fun as it is, like I'm not a skateboarder, you know? And it's like one of the only things you could have done in my neighborhood was like skate because there's just a skate park and that's it. Or graffiti, you know, or like get into like trouble and shit.
yeah.
So like a lot of my friends would just be like running around getting in trouble, like doing up cars and just racing them and shit like that. And like just dumb shit. But all the music influence kind of came from that. So like just rap, R&B.
Yeah.
And then like, I guess when we were about 16, we kind of discovered raves. And because you had to be 18 to get into clubs.
Yeah.
So it was like our only option to like kind of go party when you're like between 16 and 18.
And were you like just sneaking into under 18 like parties and stuff like that, fake IDs and
Well, we weren't sneaking at that point because the raves, they actually opened up to like, some of them were all ages, like 16 and up type thing.
Right.
And then, you know, like there were dodgy ones too that you weren't really checking ID and shit. So like, you know, but yeah, I mean, definitely like to get into nightclubs, we were rocking fake IDs and shit. I used to like make them in high school.
Did you?
Yeah, sold a few of them. It was easy though because like we're 84 and you just change a 4 to a 1 and then it's 81, bro.
There you go.
So, it's the hack.
When you were going to those raves, were you like really connected to the music yet, or was it just something to do at that time?
It was kind of something to do. Like I didn't know any of the artists. Like we knew some of the DJs that were like kind of Sydney famous, you know, but like in terms of like the music they were playing, like it was all just kind of trance and happy hardcore. And we eventually like would go and buy those compilations and find out who those people are. But at the time, just kind of there's nothing else to do. Let's just take some drugs and fucking go to this thing and fucking rock glow sticks and like flare pants and shit and just do dumb shit. And then it kind of just, it went from there really. Like, yeah.
What was the what was like the turning point, or like was there someone that you were looking up to at that time and thinking like I want to do that, or was there an artist close to you that was inspiring in any way?
Like in terms of DJing and
right,
stuff?
Right. Or like what?
It wasn't really like one moment. There were all these little run-ins like during high school. So like one of my mates bought decks.
Right.
Like he bought these Newmark belt drive things.
Yeah.
And I remember trying to like DJ on them, and I just it couldn't get it to match. You know what I mean? It was so difficult. But it kind of like made me go, fuck, okay, I really want to like know more. And then as I started getting older, the rave thing and the kind of partying and whatever. And then seeing things like music videos from America, because American culture is like, it's not foreign to us, but it's also not really like it wasn't really accepted back then. Like if you were too American, they were kind of like, try hard American, you know what I mean? And like a lot of rappers back then, you either rapped with an Australian accent or like a fake American accent, you know? It was like...
That was like the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
But, you know, I was really into like American culture, obviously, and then we'd wake up and watch like music videos for like 50 Cent in the club and I'd see Dr. Dre behind the boards and like, be like fuck, like I want to know like how to do that. So then, yeah, eventually I just got decks. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to buy some and just try.
And you were spinning like rap or house music or like all kinds of stuff?
Yeah, like back then it was like breakbeat was really popular.
Right.
Like, do you guys remember like Funk Trust or anything like that? No?
Nah.
Okay, it was like the whole Stanton Warriors, Pump DJs era, right? Crafty Cuts.
Huge in Australia.
Yeah, huge. So a lot of that, and then a lot of like rap and R&B and like that kind of like Jurassic 5 and Lyrics Born, like you know, like fun rap and shit. Like just whatever I get my hands on vinyl, really. Like there was like, you remember Jimmy Sings?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So I was just at
Jimmy Sings record store.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. Just buying all the new Mad Decent records, that and was recordings and Titsworth and Airs, Holotronics, like all those joints. Like
Jimmy Sings was an appointment-only record store, isn't it? Appointment always open select days.
Yeah, it was open very select days, and he like lived there as well. But
I remember playing some in-store parties there, and
I remember watching you play there.
Oh right,
yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then didn't we go to that pub on the corner afterwards with the roof?
Yeah. Dude, I think we did. Yeah.
No, I was definitely there.
Was that the first time we met? Because we were talking about this like off air.
We both couldn't really remember when we met you, each of us. Because I know I've known you in Australia at least as like an acquaintance, but I couldn't really pin down when we like, you know what I mean? Like really, do you remember?
I felt like it was that time in Brisbane when we were all playing in the same city, but again, it's like it's been a minute, guys. Like, fuck.
Yeah. We're old people. We go way back.
Dude, there's like I found out a really crazy story recently where Danny, who manages a band called Rufus, which obviously is I guess they're famous, so hopefully people listening know who they are. But he was like, "Yeah, man, you know we met ages ago." I'm like, "Where?" He's like, dude, we were the only two people in Jimmy Sings record store one day just flicking through records. We started talking to each other. It's like, no fucking way. And like fast forward, like whatever, a bunch of years later, he's like managing Rufus. Like he has been with them since day one. Just like,
and you're
all that
global touring DJ.
Yeah, we didn't need to talk about me, but you know, just like the influence, like all kind of came back to like Jimmy Sing, you know, like without those like landmark places in your city, like a bunch of people wouldn't be here, you know.
I love hearing stuff like that. That kind of just that. I know it's a bit romanticizing, but it's like it's so true, man. Like someone can start something like that, and it's like a hub for everybody to come and with like-minded interest to kind of meet at, and then sort of. I mean, even though you kind of met again, sort of reacquainted later on, you sort of had that as you remember it fondly, and that was like, you know, really important to the dance music scene.
Yeah, 100. And everything's just so like Bang Gang's obviously a really big part of everyone from Australia's upbringing. Mm-hmm. So again, like without Bang Gang, I don't think you would have What's So Not, like, you know, Alice in Wonderland.
Were you going to the Bang Gang parties?
Yeah, pretty sure everyone was. It was like the only thing. Like, so at that point, after the rave kind of thing, when we kind of graduated high school, it was like 18 and kind of 24, that period, it was like the whole Bang Gang modular era. So like Cut Copy, Van Shee, the presets, and then the Bag Raiders, Ajax, you know?
Yeah.
And those guys went global too, so it was bigger than Australia, which must have been super inspiring.
Yeah, they were the dudes that, like, you know, Busy P and Daft Punk and shit would come to Australia and hang out with them, you know? So it was like just as important as Jimmy Sings, like Bang Gang and Ajax especially. Like for a lot of us, like Ajax is like the reason why we have careers, you know?
I agree.
R.I.P. Ajax.
R.I.P. Ajax, man.
Legend.
A fucking legend.
What was like the turning point for you to where it was like, all right, I could probably do this for real? Like, who helped you? What happened? Was it a gig? Was it a person?
It's partially like my frustration with Australia, like, you know, just to be honest, because there's not a lot of opportunity there, you know, especially if you're from there. It can seem like it is if you're from overseas, because you go there once a year and every other DJ around the world's there and you're like, this is fucking amazing. But if you're there, like, and you come from there, like, you're fighting for like 5 opening slots, you know? And it was just like, no one was really getting my music, you know what I mean? Like, this whole like G house kind of concept wasn't a thing then. It was kind of like you were the most G house dude. You know, you had Beeper, you had Kid Sister, you know, same with Titsworth and all the shit, like doing all the rap stuff.
There was a fusion of like house and rap, but it wasn't really a full-blown movement or anything. It was like, you know, even the concept of mixing house and rap, I guess it was a bit, for house heads, they weren't really ready for it.
Yeah. For me though, like that like Beeper and like, you know, all the stuff you did with like The Count and like, or like Din Da Da, like sampling Pitbull on like 128 baseline, like house stuff. That for me is like the influence for me. Like that's why, like I said, I was at Jimmy Sings buying Titsworth records, and like the majority of Sydney's like, who the fuck is Titsworth? Like they didn't even know who Diplo is then. You know what I mean? Like Diplo was still a small act.
True.
So we were like niche as fuck. You know what I mean? And like we had a cool moment.
About what year is this?
I think this is about like, would have been like
07?
04 to 07 maybe, or 05, 06, 07. When did you put Beeper out?
That was like 06.
Okay, yeah, so like 06 then, 06, 07.
Yeah.
It was about that time.
The blogs are taking off.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't move till like a bit after that, but I guess part of it was just all that, and then also just like I'd look at my plays on SoundCloud and everything was coming out of LA. And so I kind of hit this real crossroads of like, am I too old to go now? Because I didn't really start doing this till I finished uni, like finished college. So by the time I was like trying to fully do this as a career, I was like 24, you know? And I was just kind of like, do I do this? And it was like Anna Luno and Tommy Trash. I feel like they were the two that really put it in my head, like I could do this, you know? They were like, don't stay in Oz, like don't just kind of settle for whatever. Like we just moved here a year ago and we're doing it. Like you can do this.
So Anna was first or before you?
Yeah. Anna and Tommy were already here, and like they really, really like pushed me to. And even when after the first year, like because I moved here and for a year, shit was not working out. You know what I mean? Like at one point, I was like almost homeless. Like I like had everything in my car, like sleeping in my car, and then fucking Jesse Rose came and saved my ass. Him and Brett Fisher. So I was like, without those two, again, like I owe them so much. But through that whole period where things were going really bad, like Anna was always there, Tommy was always there, you know, like definitely people like I owe, you know, just to make it here. So yeah, it was cool.
That's a great story, man. And it's great to see that everybody came through and
shout out Jesse Rose especially and Brett Fisher, because they really, really saved my ass. And they're fucking, like, solid-ass dudes who are, like, Brett's killing it now. You know what I mean? So it's like...
Yeah, shout out to
fucking
Jesse as
cool.
well, because Jesse, I want to say,
OG.
like, I'm
OG.
super grateful for him because he put me on, like, early on too. So I want to shout out Jesse.
Yeah.
Want to make sure he knows that.
Yeah, 100. Like, again, I feel like at that point in time, he had a really influential label.
For sure.
I heard Diplo play Roundtable Nights, Chroma Cat, like recently, like less than a year ago. And that song's like 6 years ago on Jesse's label. Like, that shit was influential, man. So, yeah, made to play. Fuck with it.
Yeah, man. And it's just really good to see that camaraderie, I guess, now even still. And like, I get that vibe from you, like, you know, especially when you're playing and you know, I felt the love, man, when you were like, you know, just jump on the decks and stuff. You know, that was super cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you always have that kind of, you know, a good vibe around you.
I like,
you know?
yeah. I find that really important to just always have a good vibe, like be a good hang. But I like kind of being a connector dude, you know? I like helping someone get to somewhere else or putting someone in with someone else and that develops, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I think it's like advantageous to not be selfish. You
for
know?
sure.
Like if you can let go of that insecurity, like I'm gonna lose my place, or like someone gonna take something from me, and you're like really comfortable with like your abilities and your potential to make it where you are, then like what have you got to lose from like linking people, you know, or like having someone jump on? Like it's like a little something that's insignificant to you could like help someone a lot, you know, because it happened to me. Like I said, like Jesse offering me his spare room is like was everything to me, because I would have gone home and I wouldn't be here right now.
Dude, and those things are just like, you look back on them and you feel like so grateful.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And everyone you've named, to that point, everyone you've named is like gone on to be successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just goes to show you that it's bigger than just like a song or like a fan base. It's like behind the scenes, we're all like a community. You know what I mean? Like the artists and the industry, and I think that's important.
You're a really good person with that. I feel like you kind of instilled a little bit more of that in me too, you know, because you're like a real people person, you know?
it's true.
It is.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
feel like
true.
that, but I'll take it. I mean, that's the point of this podcast, really, is to show anyone that's listening that like everyone we have on here, we know. Like, we just want to illustrate that there's a history and that we all respect each other. And, you know, everyone comes from that beginning point. No one just starts like successful.
Yeah,
there's a lot of work that goes into it. And
I feel like there's a lot of pre-work into even this whole wave of night bass and bass house and G house and shit. Like, there was so much pre-work. Like, it basically started from
Right.
06 when you put out Beeper. It just, yeah, I don't know. It just needed to evolve into where it is now. And now it's like categories on Beatport and sample packs and shit.
It's an evolution of sounds and updating of sounds and combinations of sounds. And most importantly, I think like people coming together around that, you know what I mean? Like agreeing that something is like what we want to do, something we want to push, and just fucking have fun together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. It's been fun, you know?
Yeah,
Nothing is
for sure,
yeah,
man.
Everything's fun.
So like moving over here is definitely worked out, and that's definitely something you're like so happy that you did.
It did in the end, yeah. And the other thing is because all the nightlife died in Australia, in Sydney
I
especially.
really want to talk about that. I've been thinking about that.
We can dive into that, but
'Cause-
yeah, it basically made me realize that I was even more luckier to move, because had I been stuck there, I would really like have nothing right now, you know?
Well, because you mentioned this before, like Australia was that place where like the international DJs go once a year, play festivals with like a bunch of other internationals, and you hang out with everyone local, and everyone's fucking cool, and you're like, I love Australia, it's amazing. And at that time, I'm talking like when I first really went there for a festival tour, is Park Life in 2010. Sinden, you were there.
I was on that tour with you, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bunch of people were on it. Of course, it's like for anyone that doesn't know, it's like you all travel together from city to city, like a huge festival lineup, and it's really fun. And you know, I spent a lot of time in Sydney there. I got to know you and like Nina and Chucks
Chucksy,
and
shout out
everybody,
Chucks.
Barney and all those people, and like going to the Flinders and all that. And it's like there was so much like fun stuff to do. Even when I was just there solo on like a tour, I would just stay in Sydney and just loved it. Just like camp out in Surrey Hills for a couple days, whatever. And like fast forward, that's all over the past several years like kind of died. There's not much. The festivals have kind of died out. The clubs, there's like those lockout laws.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's like it's the biggest shit show. I mean, I read an article the other day that said Sydney's lost about 1.3 billion in potential revenue from all these actions.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, it started because of like 2 fights, and these 2 fights, someone died in them each time by getting like king hit, and the government came in and made a rule that said, okay, like everybody needs to like, if you're outside the club after 2 a.m., you're done. You can't go back in anywhere, right? But the problem is those 2 fights occurred before midnight. So like, what does time have to do with anything? So that situation basically resulted in at 2 a.m. the streets were filled with people that were fucking pissed off, couldn't get back in, drunk, and now couldn't get a cab home either because everybody's on the street. So the situation just got worse, basically. Then I don't know what happened in between, but basically because all the situation just was getting worse, their idea was to clamp down even harder. And it resulted in a bunch of nightclubs basically forced to shut down because they weren't earning enough revenue. Now, because that happened, people are now not going to those areas at night. So all the restaurants at night, the kebab shops, the McDonald's, like whatever, they start losing money. So then they start closing down. Then the people that live in those areas have nothing to do now. So they start moving out. Basically, it was just a plan to take the land that all the clubs were on and turn it into development, which is what they did. So now the areas where all those clubs are, they're all high-rise apartments. But nobody's buying them because there's nothing to do in those areas. No culture anymore.
Exactly.
So it's become this weird fucking loop where it's just fucking itself over and over again. And I mean, it's to the point now it's so bad. Like the article said, they lost that much money. Tourism's gone way down. People want to go to Sydney now for like 1 or 2 days, see everything, and then dip because nothing to do. And now Sydney's kind of brought on like a nightlife mayor to try and bring back nighttime economy. Because they realize for 12 hours a day, they're now not earning any money. Like, they're stupid. Like, you taxing those bars so much, you know what I mean? Alcohol tax. Like, damn, dude. Like, how did you not see that coming? And, like, yeah, so now they're trying to turn it around because they're losing a lot of good Sydney people, too, who now can't afford to live there. Like, a lot of my friends are moving out of Sydney because they want to start families. They can't pay for rent. They can't afford to buy a house. And so, yeah, you're seeing a bit of an exodus, which is...
Last time I was in Sydney, a lot of people that we know had left.
Yeah.
There's like 1 or 2 people left that I knew.
Yeah.
And like, it definitely, you can feel the change on the streets. Like, big time. There's not as much of a vibe. There's just nothing going on. It's kind of like this big city that's kind of dead culturally.
It's sad, man, because I never thought I would ever say that I wouldn't go home eventually. And then the other day I was talking to my mom. She's like, you think you go back? I'm like, honestly, the way that shit is now for like what I do in my job, like over there, no way. Like, I need to stay like away from there.
Do you think it will come back?
Nah.
I just saw, Motif tweeted, I saw this yesterday. Motif tweeted an article about they're trying to pass a law that makes, so if they see a disco ball inside of an establishment, they like fine them or like investigate them about dance because it basically indicates that there's dancing. And I guess there's a law where you need to like, I'm going to get this completely wrong, but it's something like this where you need a certain license to have dancing. And if they see a disco ball, it indicates that there's probably dancing. So it's like getting really deep where it's just like nitpicking.
There was something similar to in Japan that they've been going through over the last several years as well about no dancing laws as well out there.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird to me.
So then what do they do in the clubs? Like, are they dancing and shit or not?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how they police this. Whether there's people going around and seeing, like looking and seeing if people are moving their feet, or like what I don't know what constitutes a dance, and what, I don't know.
That's weird.
And then how many people need to be doing it at the same time to I don't know. It's weird to me. Yeah.
Well, you got out in time. That was like the mass exodus of Aussie people, Aussie musicians.
I felt like it was a mass exodus for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I felt like when I moved to LA, everyone I met was like some
Everyone's
producer from
Australian.
somewhere else, or but yeah, Australian, or just like, or like dudes from like Europe trying to, because that was the point where everybody just needed to be in LA to try and like get in on the EDM thing,
And would you say moving to LA kind of just furthered your interest in like rap? Club focused music. And
It didn't further my interest, but it definitely filled that void I was missing, and the opportunities that kind of come up are so much greater here. Like just the access, and I think just being around, because the hardest thing from Australia is when you're touring from there, you couldn't capitalize on maybe small opportunities, which as a developing DJ or whatever artist, it's like super important. Like you might get a phone call that week to go support someone somewhere, right? And not a lot of money, but the profile's good. And you can't really do that from Australia, because you need to be getting a decent touring income to even leave. It's like $2-3 grand just to buy a ticket out sometimes. So moving here was advantageous because I can take opportunities. Like I can get a phone call and be like, can you go to studio with so-and-so later this week? Yeah, cool, I'm here. Can you go do this thing? And now it's a bit more structured and I'm not taking whatever, but like, I think to get it going, there's more opportunities here. It takes less money to go take those. So you got to do it. Yeah, definitely fucking beneficial. And for the weed and the rap and everything else, girls, like they love Australian accents. So it helps, shout out ladies.
Shout out to the ladies. So you're living at Jesse Rose's.
Yeah.
Took you in.
Yeah.
When did it start happening? Was it Crush Groove?
It was kind of started happening just after that. So it was like the Tinashe remix.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the first thing that really kind of got people's attention, because no one had like halftime sections in their house records, And then kind of from there, we got offered a lot of remix. So like we did the YG one. I did Young Thug after that. Just kind of capitalizing on the rap remixes, and then straight after that was the Crush Groove EP on Mad Decent, and then it started like getting really legit. About that time.
And how did that relationship start with Mad Decent? Was that just you? Just that from your just friendship with Diplo, and sending demos to them, or
no? Like me and Diplo weren't really friends yet. Like we'd met, but like to be honest, our like friendly relationships only really been like the last year or two, so to speak. It kind of just happened because when I was still living in Australia, I'd won a remix competition for Mad Decent for the PRGs, Paper Route Gangsters.
Oh yeah.
And I guess that's when their initial like heard of me kind of came from. But it was like my manager just sent them the 4-track EP, and they wrote back straight away and went like, "This is fire, we're signing it." And we kind of started from there.
I didn't even know that. That's cool.
That's the dream scenario.
Yeah. I was like shocked as well. I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, they're gonna put it out. I was like, all right, tight. Like, yeah, it was cool. It was really cool with them. And then now I'm still doing like the next single I put out is with them. The next 2 singles I put out is with them.
Nice.
So they've always been kind of there in my life, so to speak. Whether I'm releasing with them or not, like they're always kind of there, which is cool.
Yeah, no, it totally works as well. It totally makes a lot of sense as well.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they are also underrepresented in house. They're traditionally not a house label. And I think now we're all kind of got a buzz, So now's a good time.
They got Anna as well.
Yeah, they got Anna. Valentino does stuff over there. Yeah. So it's cool. I mean, yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, man.
I'm not locked in anywhere, so shout out labels. You got that bag. You want to slide through with that bag. Your boys down. Listen.
I guess talking about house, we should just touch upon the G house, I guess, briefly.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, being sort of categorized as a G house artist? And obviously that doesn't really. Does that still apply? And how
Are
do
you
feel
the
about
Are you
that?
the pioneer? Who's the pioneer of G House?
Well, I guess it's essentially like me and Gary, but you had a Mean Edge and Dance kind of doing their more like techno-y kind
The
of
Euro
version. But I think in terms of like the style you see now, where there's a lot of halftime sections and a lot of rap, you know, involved, like that was definitely us. It's not a bad thing. I don't like claim it. You know what I mean? I'm not out here trying to say like I fucking own this.
Yeah,
You know, shit's bigger than you, man. Like, and you got to accept, like, realize where you are on like your place in universe and world, right? But I'm proud of the fact that like we influenced so many people. You know, I'm proud of the fact that there are kids like Bijou now who will write G House artists in their Insta profile. I'm proud of the sample packs. I'm proud of the Beatport category, right? Like I'm proud of all that. Do I need to continue waving that flag into the future just for the sake of it? No, because I think the whole point is to keep evolving. Like I want to keep finding new genres and keep introducing new sounds. Like I just feel like my job is to kind of be a leader in that sense, like at the forefront. Like for us guys in this room, right, especially, releasing like an average sounding night bass track is not really an option, right? You have a lot of kids looking up to you. And like your quality needs to be high to like, or your ideas, you know, you need to constantly be pushing forward, not get comfortable where you are. So
Speaking of high quality, your remix of Fly Kicks. Jesus Christ, man.
Dude.
That song will never die. It's seriously like, you killed it with that. I need to give you more. I've already given you many, many props, but there's
Yeah.
some more.
So what was talk us through that, like, guys,
Bro.
how did it, what went down? Whose decision to commission Wax on the mix?
it was his.
Yeah, I mean,
He asked me, yeah.
you know, probably just
He
like,
asked me,
we're
but I
probably
was-
hanging out and
Yeah, but I know I gave him hell through that whole process because I just kept being like, I gotta make it.
I don't
better.
like it.
I gotta make it better. And like, if you know me, you know I'm probably a bit like that at a certain point of my music process. But
I was looking like through emails like a year ago, and I found a bunch of old versions that are all also dope. But the final version, you were just like, I don't know, I don't like it. No one's gonna like it. It's, you know, classic artist shit. And I'm like, bro, it's fucking amazing. And I played it out, and it banged. And you
Yeah.
did like maybe another mix down.
no, the final thing was the vocal chop thing.
Oh, changing it.
Yeah, so before there wasn't that back,
Yeah.
back. And I was like, fuck, something's missing from this, man. And he was like, dude, making me so late on deadlines and shit. I'm like, sorry, man. I swear this is going to be worth it, bro. Please.
It's worth it.
And then I basically did that vocal chop. And I feel like that kind of brings a lot to it, you know? So it was definitely worth it. But it wasn't a complicated process. I think the hardest thing was kind of taking the parts and going, all right, how can I turn this into something? Because there's so many like distinct melody, like it's pretty much all bass lines, right? So I didn't want to use any of their current bass line melodies. So I really took all the kind of snips you hear, but they're legit, right? So I was like, how do I turn these cuts and these parts into something fully fleshed out a bit? But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know, dude. You know what I mean? Like
My favorite part is how you took the never mind, bring the beat back, but then you just slightly changed it to never mind, bring the beat back.
yeah.
It's so simple, but like that's the part that like when you're playing at the club or wherever,
Yeah.
cut the music out and everyone is ready.
So what happened with that was I'd worked out that the back, like on the drop, I'd worked out that was cool. But
So
then
you
I
had
was
to put it on
like,
time.
if I leave the vocal how it is, it doesn't land on that chop, on the timing. So I was like, how do I make it land? So it wasn't like it was just to purely make it work. And I was like, fuck, I hope this works. Like, I hope it doesn't sound too fucking awkward. But yeah, having that little extra pause makes you catch that back. And then,
That's amazing.
And it's all those decisions that people don't really sort of think about when, you know, they hear some piece of music, you know.
Yeah, it was like a purely utilitarian move so that it would land on the one, and it
Yeah.
was like my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I definitely have seen comments because I know we played a version without the chop, and I've seen comments of kids online like, should have done the version without the chop, bro.
That's the VIP.
Yeah. I'm like,
But
oh,
I gotta send you. I don't know. You probably have them somewhere, but I have them on my computer. It's like 2 or 3 different versions, and they're fucking sick. They would make a nice VIP. We should probably revisit that.
Actually, a VIP might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more thing about that song. When I played Coachella last year, the first weekend, obviously that's one of the biggest tunes in the set. And then, like, I play it, and it was so hot at Coachella that the CDJ tripped out and went into emergency loop right when it drops. It goes, never mind, bring the beat back. And then it just goes, wah, 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 wah. It was just the first 2 beats going over and over. And I was freaking out. It was the worst. No one really noticed. And a friend of mine was out there, was like, was that a remix? And I just like quickly mixed out of it. And then the sound guy had to like fix the CDJ. Yeah, it was a bummer. But second week it worked out. Anyway,
That's stressful.
Yeah.
They need to work that out.
That heat.
Yeah.
That was like being in Australia, and I feel like, and just having problems with the heat over there.
That's honestly, I stopped using Serato because of that. Because if you played in the daytime and it was outdoors, your computer would fucking die, and then you'd be fucked.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not an efficient way of fucking doing it. You know, like that, and having to carry a laptop everywhere is like stressful.
Yeah, it is stressful.
Like, it's fine if you're like A-tracking, you're probably like,
you have tour managers.
you're very responsible.
Yeah.
You know? But if you fucking wax, bro, like, I ain't flying, man. Like, fuck. I didn't tell you guys about Barcelona, right?
Tell us about Barcelona.
No,
I'm
just
gonna
recently.
tell you about Barcelona. Yeah. So like,
Oh, you was over there recently, right?
yeah, so I lost my wallet because I was in London for a week before, and I lost my wallet, and then I had to go play in Barcelona. So I borrow a bunch of cash, go to Barcelona, fucking play the show, and then I have an extra night, and like What's So Not and Drezzo are playing, and Phantoms is in town. Fuck it, I'm gonna go out, right? My flight was at like 8 a.m., but for some reason in my brain, it was just like, I got heaps of time. Went out, got annihilated. Got back to my hotel room at like 7:30 a.m. and just wasn't thinking and just passed out. And I wake up and it's like 10:30. I've missed my flight. I'm like, fuck. All right, run to Barcelona airport. I'm there with no wallet, no credit card, like barely any cash, no flight home. Just like so hungover, like, I'm fucked. How do I get back to America? Then they're calling Karosh, like my day-to-day manager, like, bro, you got to call American and buy me a flight with my points. And like, when you buy with points, you still need to pay for the fees. But I didn't have a credit card. So when I called American, they're like, you can't buy your own flight. I was like, fuck. All right. So I'm calling Karosh at like 2 a.m. like, please get me home. But yeah, that's why I don't use Serato, basically.
Because of that behavior.
Yeah.
I stuck it out for a long time, Serato. You still use Serato?
I still
Graham?
use Serato. Yeah.
It was like, everyone was like, you gotta do USBs, and I was like, it's like it was a comfort thing for me where I was like, I need my whole library, and like, you know what I mean? Just like having it right in front of you.
Yeah.
But once I switched, it was like, this is amazing.
I mean, you could virtually have your whole library on a stick now
Exactly.
anyway.
Yeah, you can.
So it's
Yeah.
it just feels like the same thing to me almost.
And you don't have a fucking computer with you.
Yeah.
That might be stolen or have a drink
Yeah.
spilled on it or dropped or whatever.
Yeah, it does add an element of stress into the evening.
Little excitement.
Yeah, but the USBs are so like, this is a USB culture we're living in now. It's like, you know, turn up at the club with the stick. You know,
It's going to be,
stick
you know,
on
it's going to be cloud though soon.
clouds.
It
Yeah.
has to be. Like,
I'm waiting for the cloud to kick in. You just log on or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100.
It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen. Like,
Sinden, you're a laptop guy living in a stick world.
Don't give me that stick.
Yeah, so it's like coming off of like the G House thing. I know you're like involved with rap a lot, production and stuff. Are you still doing that? I know we talked a while ago. I came over and we worked on some stuff. We did legit.
Yeah.
You played me a shitload of beats and projects. How's that going? And like, who are you working with?
everything's going really good. Like I just came back from London and did a shitload of writing sessions. So
Who'd you work with?
I'm trying to think.
Did you work with any grime guys? You were playing me some pretty sick grime shit at the Night Bass anniversary.
Yeah, I've been working with Screwfizzer a bit, who's
he's
MC
dope.
out of the UK. You probably heard him on Slater's album. He's
Shout
really
out to
dope.
Screw
Yeah, shout
Fizzer.
out Screw. So me and Taiki have a song with him. I have another song solo with him, and we're just working on some of his stuff and my stuff as well. But yeah, still doing a lot of that because for me, it's advantageous. Like I can get linked with really good singers and songwriters, and I think hopefully most people hearing my records, the quality of vocals I get is higher than most people in dance music, and it's helped with like people come to me like, you know, like for instance my collabs with GTA were both top lines I'd already done, and we had kind of basic backing for them.
What's your favorite vocal you've had on a track, a dance track?
That I've released. I don't know. Maybe like I mean I love Bunda, the one I just did with dances.
Yeah.
That shit's
a
fun as fuck. It's funny. It's just it's kind of on point with kind of what's like what you want to listen to right now, you know. But I guess in terms of artists, like right now I'm working a bit with Tinashe, R&B singer.
Very cool.
Nice.
I just did the song for Gashi, obviously, with G-Eazy. And so they're about to drop the remix, but the remix has like Soulja Boy, Smoke Purp, Lil Skies, Young Pinch, bunch of people.
How cool is it to have Tinashe's phone number?
It's pretty cool. No lie, it's pretty cool. Because like, I mean, you know, for me, like I said, the first big remix was 2-on. So it's like a really full circle moment for me. Like I was like, when she started DMing me, I was like bugging out because I was like, this is someone I've been a fan of for like since day one. I've always wanted to work with her. So yeah, it's just cool.
What style of music are you working on with her?
I'm trying to put her on like,
secret.
well, it's not top secret, but I'm trying to put her on like kind of 100, 110 BPM, like
Cool.
housey stuff, because I think the R&B lane right now is pretty competitive, and I don't know if doing a straight up R&B record is kind of going to do it anymore. And I think she's cool enough to like to be experimental, and she has that taste anyway. Like she likes kind of like alternative musics and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it because we haven't finished anything really, but I think it's just kind of injecting what someone as a fan of her for so long like thinks is kind of a cool move for her, and just looking at it from the outside. But yeah, I've been working with who else? Like Hit Boy a bit.
Oh yeah. You guys did
Yeah.
like a writing camp.
We did a writing camp. That's how we met, and kind of every week now I've been going over. So this week I went over and we worked with this girl, Bad Girl, who's from Barcelona. Fire. She's like amazing. And basically what happened was one of the first times I met Hit, we were showing each other music, and he was fucking with Bad Girl. And then fast forward to last week and he hits me and he's like, yo, I'm working with her.
Oh.
Susie.
My wife, she locked herself out the house, so she
What's up?
can't get the keys. Hello.
You want to say hi, Suze?
Yeah, say hi.
Yes, he's get on the mic.
Get on the mic.
Hi.
The love of my life. Like, get the hell out of here.
Bye.
Oh yeah, Bad Girl.
Oh yeah, bad girl.
Yeah, really dope, like rapper chick from Barcelona, like kind of sings with like the real auto-tune style, but in Spanish. And yeah, I kind of showed Hit her music, and he ended up working with her. And so he hit me and was like, I'm working with her today. You got to come through. It's like a full circle moment.
You're a tastemaker, bro. That's what you do.
What's exciting you in music at the minute as well? Like besides the rap stuff, I mean,
UK stuff.
UK shit, yeah.
Yeah, I like the bassline stuff, obviously, which is no secret. Like I'm rapping a lot of that stuff, but I like Conductor and stuff too.
Okay.
You know, like the full UK
two-step
garage.
garage
Yeah, I
stuff,
mean, I've
yeah.
always been a garage fan. So, like back in the day, like Shola Amma and like that kind of stuff. Christine Blonde, like Love Shy, like
Yeah.
those jams. So yeah, and I just think that there's a lot of good songwriting coming out. Like you know, like the girl that wrote 17. I think her name's Camille for MK.
Oh, this is such a dope track.
It's dope. Yeah, so she was at the sessions that I was doing, writing on tracks. Like Shift Key came through, I brought Shifty through. Plan B was there. Like, so yeah, it's cool. Like kind of meeting people at that caliber, being able to work with them and having them go, yo, it's pretty dope. And then it kind of builds into your future, you know? So
how dope is Shift Key in the studio?
it's really, really good.
Fucking crazy, bro.
Really good.
He just like put me to shame. I felt I felt like so inferior when we worked together once.
He's dope. We've got like 3 songs together now.
Amazing.
And I fucking love them.
I mean, you're so fit for that kind of like style of working because you're very prolific. Like you work really fast. You know how to get things done quickly. Yeah. And I really look up to you for that. Like when we did Legit, that was our first time actually like working together in the studio. And I used Logic and you're on Ableton, so I was pretty useless, but I made some patches and stuff.
Yeah.
But just watching the way you worked, you know, it was inspiring. And I've actually started using Ableton now, so we can get back in the lab again. You know,
welcome to the dark side.
Round 2.
Yo,
it's the light side, bro. It is the good side. Honestly, bro.
Are you leaving us? Are you leaving us?
I'm not leaving. We were recording this podcast in Logic X. But no, the workflow and the speed of Ableton, like PD gave me some, like, we were working on some music and he's a fucking teacher. He teaches Ableton at Icon. And he is one of my best friends. He showed me a few things and we were working, going back and forth. I started to get the hang of it. And he left the room and I didn't really notice, and I worked on it, and he came back in, he's like, you're doing it. And I was like, oh shit. And ever since then, I've just been like using Ableton, and it's amazing how fast it is. Yeah. The only thing for me, I'm gonna nerd out for a minute, the only thing for me is that I feel like I can't get it to sound as good as I can get Logic to sound.
Yeah, no, that's very, very true.
For writing and being creative, it is like insanely faster, and it's just set up so perfectly. So
yeah,
I'm in the gang now.
Yeah, Yo, the new one's about to come out, and like some of the features are like fire. So
really,
yeah, it's worth getting into it now.
What, do you have a beta?
Nah, I just seen it. Like I watched the videos and stuff, and it's like it's about to like just be cool. So cooler. I don't know.
So sorry, going back to the writing stuff in London.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of stuff come out of that. A lot of songs come out of that experience. A lot of connections.
I did like 8 songs in 5 days. But when I say songs, and when I'm in that environment, it's different to like club land, and I guess whatever people listening to this might be familiar with. So when I say just writing 8 songs, I mean I'm trying to get like music kind of bedding behind it and like all the top lines done.
So tell us a bit about the energy of the writing camps, or the workflow, or like how does it work? Like there's so many creatives in kind of working on a record.
Yeah, what's the process when you get in the studio? Yeah, how does it start?
It's really, I guess it's pretty different every time. I'm not, for the last few years, I haven't been a big fan of going into the studio with people I don't know, just because it can feel a little like speed dating, where it's like, here's 8 hours with someone you've never met, get to know each other and make something dope. And it's like, what? Like, how? So
you don't know if you're going to have a connection personally, which is really important.
Yeah. But I guess in terms of how it normally starts off, it's just, you got to feel it out. You got to feel the room. And then I personally try not to say any direction up front, you know, because I really want the vocalist to A, really be fucking with whatever the bedding is, and B, for them to write their best work. And in order for that to happen, they need to like have something melodically that they're really into, you know? So generally just trying to find something that works that I've already done, or just start something new, just whether it's chords or a bass line or something that they're like, oh, I'll write to that, you know? Because production is so interchangeable. Like if you have the right top line and whatever, you can make any song sound like anything, right? So the focus for me is to get the best quality of vocal, like the best writing, the best lyrics.
Something that the singer-writer like connects with, to where
Yeah.
they can get a great idea for you.
Yeah, when they're really feeling it, then they'll deliver something great. And then if you don't want to change the production later, you go into it yourself and do it. And I find a lot of times now with production anyway, there's so much vocal processing and cutting up of vocals for chops and stuff. They're like, having the vocal can help you determine this direction anyway after that. You know what I mean?
So when you're in the sessions, you're not really sort of doing the vocal processing at that stage. You're just kind of putting down like the ideas for them to just like vibe
yeah.
to.
In some of these instances, we would just be like chords. Like I'd do some chords, but let's just start writing to that. Put it into Logic, track them, then export it all back into Ableton once they're finished recording, and then start adding drums, start producing it up.
And how long would you spend typically on like one song before you're like, let's move to the next thing?
Whenever the idea gets stale.
Okay.
So if everybody's rolling and fucking with it, and we just keep going.
Yeah.
And if everyone's kind of stuck for too long and kind of arming and eyeing and you're not really making progress, it's important to just like step up and say like, hey guys, like we're not really getting so far on this. Like, why don't we start something new?
And so for the rapid fire session type thing where you only have like a few hours or whatever, the goal is to leave with like a solid vocal, right? Top line.
Yeah, for me,
And then you could switch the bed underneath it later.
Yeah, and because I feel like production generally takes longer, right? It generally, you want to be able to have some time with it, fiddle around with ideas. So, yeah, what I'm looking for is the best quality recording. So in terms of takes, like is she on key? Like, what's a bit wobbly here? You know, and just change stuff out. Like, basically comping together the best lead and making sure, like, the lyrics, the songwriting is, like, meaningful, you know, like solid. Like,
Are you like American Idol in there? Like, nah, that was a bit pitchy, dog. Are you?
yeah, you know what? See, that's,
Are you very honest, and are you very collaborative with like singers? I guess it depends on the artist you're working with too, if they're open to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough where I'm at the point now where most of the singers I'm working with aren't like they can sing, you know, so that I'm not really having problems with like a bit pitchy there, a bit, you know what I mean? Like,
But
generally,
you say I like this, like I like what you're doing there. Do you kind of direct them? Yeah.
yeah, I try to not talk too much, but if there's something I feel strongly is dope or strongly not dope, then yeah, I should say something. It's your job as a producer. Like, you're the one responsible for it from the start till the end, you know? So it's kind of your job to help with direction when needed, which is important. Like, I really want to just let the singer thrive and do their thing, and, you know, we can clean it up later. But if there's something that they're doing and I'm just like, I don't know, you know, but I won't be like, I hate that. Like, how about we just try something? Because you're dealing with people's like sensitive emotions and stuff.
Course, yeah.
You don't want to be like, that's trash, right? It's the quickest way to put a songwriter out of a good mood, right? But you just want to like kind of suggest stuff, or like, hey, how about we try it this way? If it doesn't work, we can go back. It's like, you know,
there seems to be a lot of diplomacy involved, and really a lot of like just connecting, like you say, like vibes. You know, just creating these like bonds with these people. You know?
Yeah. Again, like if you're the producer, and like, because during the sessions I'd have people coming into our room interrupting us, right? I'm like, yo, like, the singers are my assets. Like, don't fucking fuck this shit up. You know what I mean? Like, it's like someone come in and be like,
You need like a
so and
hitman
so and so wants to come in and say hi. Yeah, but it's my job to protect the singers, you know, because they like, I know that someone came in was like, so and so wants to come in, and I just looked at them and I was like, yo, we're recording right now. You know, like, don't like, I'm here to protect them and make sure that they feel comfortable. They're writing good. You know
and
what I
you've
mean?
built a mood and a vibe, and someone's gonna come in and completely disrupt it.
Exactly.
Whether
Like,
they mean to or not, it's gonna happen.
yeah, exactly. And you're the producer. You're in charge. You know, well, not in charge, but you should feel the right to like stand up and say, hey, like, you're making these guys feel uncomfortable or whatever. You know, like,
Yeah. So there's really a lot of skills involved, like assertiveness, really, and things like that involved, other than just being creative and making,
yeah.
you know, music. It's like there's more to it than a lot of people think.
It took me like really long to learn that, because again, like I said, a producer is someone that really is responsible from start to finish, right? I never really saw it like that way. I just thought I made the beat, they just do what they want. But that's a beat maker, you know what I mean? It's not a producer. Like, and so I used to record my own vocals and do the sessions with vocalists, which is a complete nightmare. Like if you're a new producer, don't like sure do it as a necessity because you have to. But if you get to the point where you don't need to, I think it's better advice to have an engineer that will record the vocals and do the technical side, and your job is to be the vibe builder.
I will attest to that. Like without an engineer, it's
a nightmare.
It's because you're trying to do creative and technical, and it's like I end up doing that a lot of times because I like to be like one-on-one, but it's also like you get caught up in the like, turn up the reverb and all that shit, and it's just kind of like I want to focus on what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. And I put myself in this position, but yeah, I agree with you.
Yes.
Like if you can get an engineer, I think that's
it was
that's their fucking job. They're really good at it, and they can make shit sound good.
Yeah, without having to stress out. Mm-hmm. But that's exactly my problem at the start. I was either getting really well recorded vocals that were kind of trash lyrics, or like great lyrics that were recorded like trash. And I was like, this can't be. It's a waste of time. Mm-hmm. Just pay for the engineer, recoup it back later. You know what I mean? It's like a business. You need to be able to front costs. So definitely worked out a lot better since I started doing that, you know? And yeah, you're able to build a better relationship. You're not there like fiddling with fucking reverbs. You're there like actually connecting with the artists, like getting to know them, like getting them to feel comfortable and like getting them in a good mood. And you've got a guy doing all the technical shit. And if something doesn't work, they're not yelling at you. My mic's not working. Turn it up. So they're yelling at like you're creating a barrier between you where you're not the guy that's the hated one as well. You know what I mean? Like you're taking that factor out.
So you've learned that it's probably taken you a long time to go through all these sessions over the years and learn all these different skills.
Yeah, dude. I did a session with Dua Lipa like 3 years ago.
No way.
Before she put out any music. Yeah.
Do you still have the sesh?
Nah. I don't think I do. But she didn't really record anything. Like she was kind of like she was in, again, it was like a camp thing. So there were like 4 or 5 rooms going for her. By the time she came to our room, her voice was pretty like cooked, you know? Mm-hmm. But I also just felt like me as a producer now, if I'd done that session, like I would get the cut. Back then, I was just like, that was just after the Crush Groove EP.
Right.
And they only wanted me because I was on Mad Decent, because she was like wanted to work with Diplo and like whatever. And my head, like I didn't understand how to write like a pop record, not a pop record, but like an actual real song record, not a dance record, you know? So I wasn't prepared for things like working with songwriters, like all the stuff we spoke about. So lessons like that made me fucking learn.
What was like a turning point for you as a producer in that capacity, like that we've been talking about? Like, when did you really start like hitting your stride? Like, was there a certain artist that you clicked with, or was there a certain song that you were like, I know what I'm doing?
No, it's been a really just a step by step. Yeah, every session I learn a little something. But I think just signing my publishing deal with the company I signed with, and they do a lot of that stuff. Like,
what company are you in?
Pulse Music Group. So they have like, I mean, on the rap side they have like Tydolla, Rich the Kid, K-Tronada, Gold Link, but then they have like Jai Wolf, Wheat Thing, Galantis, and then beyond that, like songwriters like Julia Michaels, Justin Tranter, like these guys who write like big songs, you know. And like every year they have like at least 5 or 6 Grammy noms for clients signed to them. And just being in those environments and realizing, okay, our world's cool and I love it, right? And we've got that. But there's also all this other stuff out there, and like I just want to be the best producer. Like I said, like watching Dr. Dre behind the boards is like one of the things that got me going. So I was like, yo, I want to win a Grammy. Like I want to be a fucking real, like a decent producer, you know? And there's a lot of dudes from our lane, like Blood Pop is one of those dudes, like shout out Blood Pop, who was like an Owls the Artist and is now producing the next Lady Gaga album. And it's like, we have an edge that some of these other dudes don't have because we're into sound design, we're into interesting ideas. And I realized like I could capitalize on that, and it so happened that the tide started turning, and then artists started getting Diplo to produce their songs and blah, blah, blah. And you hear all this Major Lazer influence pop music now, like Afrobeat and reggaeton, you know?
Like
so
Snake influence.
DJ Snake, and it's like, yo, these dudes are looking for me. Like Tinashe DM'd me to work because she's looking for something that's a little bit different to whatever she has access to, right?
That's a good artist right there. To someone that wants to push the boundaries a little bit, You know what I mean? And not just chase up what's cool.
And you can be adventurous with these artists as well. You can really
Yeah, that's the other thing I
do
learned.
some wild shit.
Yeah, so
Because they know what you do.
yeah, like I would go to sessions, and I would just play. Like I'd go to a rap session and play whatever Atlanta rap beats, right? And the rappers be like, whatever. Like, thought about the mentality. I was like, you know what? These guys get access to these kinds of beats every fucking day. They're not calling Wax Motif because they need another rap beat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So from then I started changing my strategy. Like if I go meet up with an artist in the studio, I'll play maybe 2 or 3 beats in the sound that they currently do, just to show that I'm not a total fucking idiot and I know what's up. And then if they get bored, like sometimes I'll be like, I fuck with this because they just want to do their sound, right? Mm-hmm. So then they'll grab something. If they're like, yo, this is the same shit, then I start going into like the weirder beats, you know, and like more experimental stuff. Usually that's kind of how I judge what they want to do, you know? Because like an artist with where they're at now in their head is probably different from where you think they are. Like you might think that person just wants to do another R&B record, but in their head they're probably like so over it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just establishing kind of what they're hoping to get, you know what I mean? Did they do this session for another R&B song, or did they do it for something other reasons, you know?
Yeah, there's probably a reason you're there with them.
Yeah,
because they want to do something different.
Yeah,
which is a great position for you.
I know that's what it's like with Hit Boy, you know, because like he got tons of other rap producers, and every time I go over, I'm like, I want to get on some rap thing. He'll just be like, yo, like, make me one of those cool vocal synths. So, like, you know, dude, like, and it's like, oh, okay, like, I'm there because I want to do some other shit, but he wants me there for what I'm good at.
Get Hit Boy on a Night Bass record.
Right.
Fucking amazing. Shout out Hit. Let's go, buddy.
Yeah, so, all right, so let's look into the future. Say you win a Grammy for, like, a rap song or an R&B song or something like that. Where do you go? Do you stay in that lane, or do you still keep doing like house music?
I don't think anything would change. No matter how many accolades I got in house or in rap, I'll still continue to be me. Like,
that's what's up.
Yeah, I don't think anything would change. I'll continue to make house and I'll continue to make beats. Like, if anything, hopefully it'll give me a bigger platform. You know, hopefully it'll give me a platform to be able to say, I think this is cool now. And then people will fuck with that, or like help artists get on, you know, and like just kind of build that way.
Yeah, I really like that about you, man. I feel like you, when I see you DJ, you really kind of traverse like some different styles. You can like play some funky shit. You can play like kind of rap stuff. Kind of all make it all work, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's you're still being uniquely you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Thanks, man. I don't know. It's hard to be not you. Like, as much as I want to be, like, cool guy, wear sunglasses everywhere, like, people know me, you know what I mean? People have met me, they've partied with me.
You are a cool guy, come on.
But, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a scrappy, loose dude, bro. Like, we're just going to say it. So, like,
You're a real
sometimes... Yeah, but sometimes, like, just kind of, like, accept... I don't want to say, like, accepting who you are, because that's such a shit thing to say, but, like... Sometimes you got to realize, like, be realistic with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and be comfortable with kind of who you are. I think it took a while for me to get to that point, you know? Like, being, like, Asian growing up in Australia is, like, fucking pretty difficult sometimes. So it took a long, like, road of just being like, you know what? Like, you can't change things by yourself. You can't change your ethnicity. You can't change certain things, right? So it just kind of, like, made me go, you know what? You just got to stick to being you.
Yeah, it makes you who you are.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I don't think being into rap and being into house is weird anymore.
No, definitely not.
I think back then it used to be weird. I think now kids fucking go see Uzi Vert and then go see fucking AC Slater.
Yeah,
you know
I feel
what
like
mean?
it's the norm, and I feel like those two worlds are like very, you know,
There's more.
it's cohesive.
There's more connections than there are differences.
Yeah.
In the rave world and the rap world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Especially the younger you go,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I for me, the only difference in my mind is it's like an outlet. So it's like, I don't have to make house music every second of the day. I can make something cool. Not cool, but I can make something different and know it won't be a complete waste of my time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still able to monetize my art. Like, but if you don't have a way to do that, I know there's a lot of house dudes that we're friends with that just be making hip hop beats that are good, you know? Like Bass Boy is one of them. Like Shift Key too. Like
it's Shift Key, not to blow him up, but low key, he writes a lot of shit for
mad people.
Yeah,
bro.
mad people.
Mad
You don't
people.
know. You don't know
You
that.
don't know. Like, but yeah, it's an outlet to not be pigeonholed into what you make every day.
And
So
I
you
guess
have freedom.
ultimately that's kind of like your journey. That is kind of what you kind of wanted to do ultimately anyway. So
Yeah.
kind of full circle. You're living your dream as like a
Yeah.
young Wax growing up.
Yeah.
Like,
and you can do it all, you know? It's just
sick.
It's like branding is important though, right? You don't want to be the dude that's just like releasing fucking 20 different genres a fucking
Yeah,
week.
that's the other side of it.
That's the side where it can get messy, right? But I'm pretty like conscious of that. So like generally anything I make that doesn't sound like I could release it, we're trying to like place it with an artist or find a good home for it so that my time wasn't wasted, you know?
Yeah, like consistency is super important, and also being kind of, I guess, on what makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, I just feel like
you know what I mean?
like I never really understood that point, but someone made a point to me. It's like if you go to McDonald's, right, you know what you're getting,
Yeah,
and that really resonated with me.
I fully agree with that
Because-
as far as music.
Yeah, and I mean just to establish a base, because McDonald's will then go and sell a fucking vegan hamburger, but people still know that they could buy the cheeseburger. You know what I mean? And I just think it's important. Like you can diversify later in life if you want. Like when you're established, like. You know, I think people like Diplo and Snake, Dylan Francis, no one cares what genre they make anymore. Songs got to be good though, right? But I just feel like you can get to a certain point where you're able to be a bit freer and then be McDonald's and sell a vegan burger.
But I think you could be Wax Motif, the DJ, the house guy, the G house guy, whatever, and still do the kind of pop, rap, R&B, whatever stuff, and let those artists and those labels push that rather than, and then like Wax Motif lives
Exactly.
in that like club zone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're still getting the accolades from
Yeah.
whatever happens on the other side and the money.
Yeah.
But like your fans really want like
Yeah.
dance music.
No, that's exactly.
And that's the way to go, I think.
Yeah. No,
personally. Yeah.
I'm so conscious of that, and I can intend to keep it that way. You know, like I don't think there'll ever be a point where I won't be doing house, because this is my outlet for house. Just like if I was a full-time pop producer or rap producer, like some of my friends, they fucking make a house beat that's dope and they can't do anything with
It's
it.
the opposite.
It's the opposite, yeah.
The situation's
Yeah.
opposite.
My thing is just about finding freedom in what I do every day.
Tell us about House of Wax.
I was just about to
yeah.
transition
beat you to the punch,
you
brother.
did.
I mean, right now it's just a radio show. We do it fortnightly on Sirius XM Insomniac Radio, and
But it's kind of your brand. Because you did the show at El Rey,
yeah,
and it was like House of Wax.
yeah,
Is that a direction you see yourself going to kind of like, that's like your identity outside of yourself is like, I don't know.
I don't
Like a
know
brand.
yet. I haven't thought that far ahead. For now, like I want it to be parties on the radio show, but I don't know, because I don't want to do things before I fully, like I don't want to go blindly into something. You know what I mean? Kind of want to think about it a bit more. I mean, I feel like for me, like
You want the
there's
vision.
other artists that have had way shorter careers than me that have started record labels already, right?
Yeah, the record
like-
label thing is a real popular,
It's a popular one.
move right
Yeah,
now.
so that's obviously something I'm considering because it feels overdue for me. But at the
You're
same
like the
time,
only guy in the room that doesn't have a record label. Really.
damn man, damn. But it wasn't. It was more that I didn't think there was radio shows that were getting service for what we do. You know, there is none.
I
There is
agree.
no dedicated show that plays like night-based confession sounding stuff. But there's record labels. So it was like, at that point in time, I don't want to start a record label because I want to compete with my friends, first of all. Not that it's a competition, but so I'm happy with my releases I'm doing on Night-Based Confession. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for me to start a label right now.
Also, you have to ask yourself, what's the goal of the label?
Exactly.
Like, am I going to put my own shit on it? Or, you know, what am I going to put out and what is the point of it?
Yeah. Everything.
Starting a label just to start a label because everyone says you need to is I think, a risky decision.
Yeah.
Because it could, you know, I think if you start a label, you got to be ready to go full force into it and have a vision.
Yeah.
I think with anything, like you said about House of Wax, you're not sure yet what you want it to be, so don't force shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's okay.
But
Yeah, I think that's the smart move.
But yeah, but definitely what I did know was that I was being offered an opportunity to have a radio show, and I didn't see anything by any one of our peers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then from there, they kind of just, we had like, the branding for the show kind of happened because of, I guess, the popularity of whatever the radio show. It just kind of started making sense. Like getting so many tweets about House of Wax over just general wax stuff. I was like, hey, starting to kind of get a bit kind of like not bigger than me, but you know what I mean? Like I got to let it kind of like have its own thing.
Mm-hmm. I got an idea for another radio show later when you get famous for the Grammy.
Oh yeah.
Rap of Wax.
I already do. I do a section on my show called Wax Caviar after the Rap Caviar Spotify playlist, and I play like 4 or 5 rap tunes. But yeah, that's a good idea.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Is this the end of the podcast?
I think so. I think this is a good way
Bro.
to
yeah.
wrap up.
I just want to say this conversation like totally inspired me. So
Thanks.
thanks for walking a
Yeah,
block and
same,
a
man.
half to the night base office.